All right, welcome back. So we are in the Helpdesk Buttons account, the backend portal, whatever you want to call it. And what we're going to do is we're looking at our ticket dashboard, and you can see here the list of tickets that have been submitted through Helpdesk Buttons over the course of the last month or so. And our most recent one, the one that we just submitted, is this: we need to onboard a new hire. And if you look in the bottom left-hand corner here, you can see that the link there is a high entropy URL. It can't be backed out or anything like that. It's a pretty secure link there. And if we click that, it'll take us to our report. But I'm actually going to show you how to get to this, this link to the report through ConnectWise Manage. So let's just run to our service board real quick. I already pulled it up. This is our ticket 777. We need to onboard a new hire. And this is basically what you'll see in the system itself. We've got our user using with that email address that we put in. And you can see here that we have our time zest appointment listed here as one of our resource pods. And then you can see the form that I filled out is appended to this ticket. So that's also a nice thing to have all together. And then here is a private note or an internal note in the system. We've got our report. So it's the same link that you saw on that previous page, and I'm just going to click it. And we'll run through what you get with every single button press or ticket submission through Helpdesk Buttons. So here's our report, our annotated slideshow of the user's last 20 actions before they press the button. And these images are stored in a first in, first out FIFO basis. So the first, all of these actions, they are captured and they're stored compressed in memory on the user's device until they consent to having it submitted. So we're not writing this anywhere that it can be accessed later. This is, as soon as that 21st action is captured, the first one is released into the ether. So we've got, we basically rewrote the Windows Problem Steps Recorder. And so you can see that wasn't fast enough for us. So we completely rewrote it. And you can scroll, you can go back and forth and look at the different images here. You can see where a cursor action occurred on the page. You'll see that it's annotated across the bottom. So you can download a given frame. You can download the entire slideshow with embedded images. So if there's a certain, you were able to see the error as it occurred on the screen as the user went through the steps to essentially replicate the process, you'll be able to follow along and get context for what they were saying their problem was. So there's our annotated slideshow. Our report comes with the remote control and the remote terminal actions here. We'll just show you how quick it is. It doesn't require any plugins or other downloads. You can just jump right into the user's computer. So there it is. I'm actually going to trigger the software again to show you something. So just recall that I triggered that, and I'll be right back. And then we've got a remote terminal, which again is just a very quick remote access tool. I'm going to throw a tree command just so you can see how quick it is. Real time. Very nice. And these can be turned off administratively. You can both turn them off on your own volition, or you can ask us and we can turn that off administratively. And I do want to show you, remember I told you to keep in mind that I had just turned on or I pressed the button again. So you can see we get an alert when a button press occurs. So if you have a VIP client that you like to keep an eye out for, or if you get 5 or 10 or more button presses at the same time in the same location, you know that there's probably a big problem that you should go ahead and arrange for a tech to go check on. And ticket not yet submitted, rows that show up like that and a ticket doesn't get submitted. We're assuming that a ticket will be submitted, but sometimes button presses happen on accident. These will fall off after 90 minutes. So back to this report. What we've done, and I've mentioned it previously, is we've taken all of this real-time diagnostic information and we've analyzed it as a first pass to kind of see where there might be a problem that you should go ahead and check. And if you click on these different icons, they'll drop you down to those sections of the site or the report. And so just back at the top here, we have the user trust factor, which is interesting. We will definitely hit on that later in another video. Our network diagnostic information, just checking the jitter, checking the latency, making sure that everything is looking fine. And for once, it's actually looking fine on this old computer that I have. Our NS lookup, Software diagnostics, you'll see that when something looks problematic, we'll highlight it. If it's very bad, we'll highlight it in red. If it's not ideal, but probably isn't the main culprit, we'll highlight it in yellow. And then you'll also note throughout this report, there's a bunch of links. What we've done with these links is they're curated lists. So we've taken a bunch of sites that are reputable, and we've told Google to search for this string, for this executable, only on these sites. And so if there's a particular executable that a technician says, oh, I'm not exactly sure what this is, if you click on it, it's actually going to pull up a reputable website that's going to help you solve the problem. We do the same thing for our messages for the event viewers. So here's our application event viewer. And if we click this, it's going to take us to a message board, or okay, here's a support Microsoft link with the symptoms and resolution. So really great tool for, in some cases, it may be training a new technician. In other cases, maybe, just maybe you haven't had your second cup of coffee that morning. So you're trying to, that it helps you just kind of focus your energy and even resolve your problem without having to apply much resources to it. We do pull the DNS cache, and we compare everything in the DNS cache to Cisco Umbrella's list of known malicious sites. So if the user's computer has called back to a known botnet unbeknownst to them, you'll have that listed. Or alternatively, if the user has visited a torrent site or adult site and maybe was embarrassed by that, so they cleared their browser history, you'll get a hit on that, so you know kind of maybe what happened to that computer that's giving it heartburn. Recent blue screens of death will be listed along with the error messages associated with those. Hot fixes are listed. You can see those are also linked, so you can see what was included in that hot fix, maybe what problems were associated with it. And then if a hotfix has been installed in the last 24 to 48 hours, we'll highlight that. So again, you've got that knee-jerk, this is probably a good place to start. It doesn't necessarily connect all the dots, which in some cases it does, but it at the very least gives you that context so that you and your good brain can connect those dots. And then hardware diagnostics, just a list of other things. We do have quite a few other items that are going to be added to this report in the near future, as if this wasn't enough. And then as if that list isn't enough, if there's any specific information that you feel needs to be appended to every report, or maybe software log files that you find that you're constantly uploading, we have custom scripts available so that you can write your own PowerShell scripts to go and grab that information and append it to each and every one of these reports as they come in. So a really great starting place. It gives your technicians not only the baseline information of what was happening on that device at the time of the error, but also some great tools for where to get started, where to focus your time and your energy, along with the context of what the user reported in that ticket.